Hi, welcome to Bark Bookshelf, a video series about books and the drinks they inspire. My name is Elias, and today we're talking about KALYNA the Cutthroat by Elijah Kinch Spector. KALYNA the Cutthroat is one of my most anticipated books of 2024. Back in 2022, I really loved Elijah Kinch Spector's first novel, KALYNA the Soothsayer, where a young woman is a false prophet, the only member of her family line not to have the gift of soothsaying and true visions, and must con her way through the machinations of this court in the Tetrarchia, as like collection of 4 kingdoms that are now a confederation in one kingdom. And it was, KALYNA the Soothsayer, I am God's strongest soldier for this novel because, it's so voicey, it's so good, it's so smart, it's so fun. Y'all all need to read it. And so it was with those very high expectations that I came into KALYNA the Cutthroat, and wow. It's very fun. It's a sequel, but it's also a standalone. You can read it if you haven't read KALYNA the Soothsayer. You should definitely read both. I don't care what order you do it in. You just gotta read both. I would be really interested to talk to folks who read KALYNA the Cutthroat first, and then read KALYNA the Soothsayer, because I think you're gonna have a different experience, but you're gonna have a really good experience. You're gonna have a really good experience regardless. KALYNA the Cutthroat is a low-magic fantasy novel set in this sort of early modern world where we're here in the Tetrarchia, as I said, this confederation of 4 kingdoms. And our main character for this book is a scholar of curses. He is a foreigner. He's from the neighboring kingdom to the north, Lawasht, and his name is Radiant Basket of Rainbow Shells, which gives you maybe a little bit of a sense of like the thought that's going on here. And all of these Lawashti names have those same strings of words, that like real sense of specificity. There's a thoughtfulness in the world building and a real power amid all the fun, because as the novel begins, Radiant finds that he's a member of an ethnic group in Lawasht that has historically had difficulties with the main drag of Lawashti society, and he finds that his immigration papers are no longer valid. He's now stateless and at high risk. And this is the situation that introduces him to KALYNA, our beloved false soothsayer, con woman extraordinaire, and now professional cutthroat, with the plan of reuniting with his family, finding out if they're okay back in his homeland, and finding some stranger things along the way, including this utopian community that is not as perfect as it seems. As with KALYNA the Soothsayer, we're dealing with ideas about building a civil society and building an ethnically and culturally diverse civil society. And we're doing it with like poison and violence and like guns and lies and deception and plans that shouldn't work but they do, and should work but they don't, and all the little fiddly bits and bobs like a Rube Goldberg machine. It's just like immensely satisfying to read. And timely. You know, it's the great gift sometimes of a book being timely, but also a curse, because, you know, if a fantasy novel is timely and speaking to the, like, zeitgeist, then probably things in the zeitgeist aren't that great. It's the double-edged sword there. But 100%, like, thoughtful, timely, fun, and, you know, and gloriously queer, where, like, Lawashti, the, like, bureaucratic Lawashti, the common language for this culture, only has one pronoun. They don't really think in gendered terms the way that they do in the Tetrarchia. We see explorations of different cultural modes, how we meet characters, how different point of view characters see other people. It's really just, you know, fantasy at its best ability to explore cultural connectivity and cultural difference. And that's the sort of thing that gets me out of bed in the morning. So I had just the very best time. And without any further ado, why don't we turn to our drink? Our drink is the Radiant Basket of Rainbow Shells, because with a name like that, how can I resist? And we're going to start with 1.5 ounces of Slivovitz. This is a plum brandy, unaged plum brandy, used and sort of grown in Eastern Europe, produced rather. We're going to get 1.5 ounces of that in there. It's fruity, it's clean, crisp feeling, and just a hint of sweetness, especially on the nose, while still being that really, you know, high-octane plum brandy. Really, really refreshing. And then, to that, we will add 0.75 ounces of this golden apricot liqueur, made with dried apricots and sugar and vodka. You know, you marinate those for about 3 weeks or so. You can get something really delicious, really great for fall and winter. One of my personal favorites. Get 0.5 ounce of Amontillado sherry, some nuttiness, some, you know, still a hint of sweetness, but not quite so much. There we go. And a really lovely depth, you know, you get from that Amontillado. 0.25 ounce of ginger syrup, that fiery ginger syrup, that lovely hangover cure ginger, as we see in the novel. Perfect. And you only want to use about 0.25 ounce of this stuff at a time, because it is very peppery, very fiery, very sharp ginger. Really delicious. But if you use too much, then you're only going to be tasting the ginger. And we want to be able to taste our apricot, and our Amontillado, and our Slivovitz, and our cardamom bitters. We're going to get 2 to 4 dashes of cardamom bitters. As always with bitters, easy to add more, hard to add less. Lovely. And if you want to add more when you taste your Radiant Basket of Rainbow Shells, then you can do so. As always, easy to add more, hard to add less. Get our ice in there, always adding our ice last, because that's what cooks our cocktail. And you never know when you're going to be pulled away from your mixing glass into a scheme, into some crisis, into, like, 3 rainy weeks on steppes and grasslands where you can't get dry, and you don't want to have an overly diluted cocktail. That's just unacceptable. We can't have that at all. So we're going to give that a stir for about, 15 seconds or so, until the ice and the liquid are at an equilibrium. Get a julep strainer right here, and strain into a stemmed cocktail glass. Perfect. And there you have it. This is our Radiant Basket of Rainbow Shells, inspired by KALYNA the Cutthroat. KALYNA the Cutthroat is out now. I am so grateful to the publisher Erewhon for sending me an advance copy so we could talk about it on release day. I am eagerly looking forward to getting back from Thanksgiving travel and finding my hardcover copy that I pre-ordered, because it's really going to be a lot of fun to see it in the finished form. There's a map. It's a very cool map. So, got a link to snag that in the description down below. You 100% need to do it. Like, you need to do it. You need to do it. Just go get KALYNA the Cutthroat, read KALYNA the Cutthroat, and tell me what you thought about KALYNA the Cutthroat in the comments down below. I really love chatting about the books down there. Hit that like button. It makes me so happy when you do, and it really helps us to find new audiences. Subscribe if you haven't already so you never miss an episode. We've got some great December books coming at you as we head into the end of the year, and some really exciting things coming in 2025. Got a link to snag my book, Cocktails and Consoles, 75 cocktails and mocktails inspired by the wonderful world of video games. Makes a really great holiday gift. That's in the description below, as well as links to various forms of social media, including Twitter, Instagram, and Blue Sky, where there is always a written version of today's recipe. Try the drink, let me know what you think, and until next time, cheers.